told Rickety James, look, young blood, go west. Rick James said, you took all my money. He said, here go $50. He said, this ain't enough for a plane ticket. Catch the bus. So please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe because it is so important to my success here on the YouTube. And if you do not have a retirement and or investment plan in place through your employer, please check out the Acorn app below. It'll change your life. Now, let's talk about Rick James' autobiography, Glow, Part 8. Rick James opens up and says, my future was staring me in the face. And her name was Perfect. Again, I don't know why he wouldn't say this girl name. He said every other girl name, but So anyway, Perfect is staring him in the face. And she was perfect in every way. She had boobs, she had butt, she had ass, she had high cheekbones, and she was smart. What Rick James says is that the relationship between Perfect and him was strictly platonic. They had a very strong bond in regards to their friendship. In fact, when Perfect started hunching Jay Sebring, behind Stephen Steele's back, they used to get together and laugh about it. That shit ain't funny. That shit ain't funny, but when you eating potted donuts and, dropping acid, everything is funny. But at any rate, they shared their most intimate secrets, okay? They knew everything about each other, okay? But the hottest secret that Rick James said was that they was falling in love with each other, but Perfect chose to keep it platonic. Notice I said Perfect chose to keep it platonic. Until that lovely, beautiful, extravagant day on a flight to Toronto, okay? Now they sitting next to each other, I guess. Hot pussy Perfect, was filling her loins today. So she looks at Rickety James like, hey, big head, then gets up and moves towards the back of the plane, going towards the bathroom, okay? Rick James say he waited a couple of minutes, all right? And then he got up and he went to the back, Perfect left the door ajar, okay? Rick James came in, all right? Then, Perfect got two lines, potted donuts sitting on two, packs of potted donuts sitting on a, I guess, I don't know. That's disgusting to me because planes, bathrooms are disgusting. And then in them small bathroom, Ricky James said, he's crunched down on his knees so he can eat her peach, okay? I'm like, oh my God, this nigga is in search for the perfect peach. All of a sudden, he stands up, picks her up, put her on the damn, I don't know, something on there. I don't know. Them bathrooms be too small and too nasty for me to do anything. People be like, oh, I'm part of my house club. That shit is nasty. He said by the time they got to the hotel, they was pulling their clothes off and they was slovenly attacking each other with so much passion. Now, once they finish hunching, Perfect comes to her senses, or, the high is wearing off, and she says, oh my God, what am I going to tell Jay? RJ said the same thing you going to tell Stephen, not a motherfucking thing. Says, but they will know. RJ say, and this nigga is slime. Rickety James, I love your music, but nigga, you are slime. Say, well, they fucking too many bitches to be just worried about you, Perfect. You'll be okay. So the two of them are together on a mission to find Rickety James' band that was sponsored by, Jay Sebring, because Jay Sebring is like, okay, I'll pay for you to get a band, but just make sure I can fuck the girl Perfect along the way. So right now, Rick James is feeling himself because the different clubs that they're going to, they remember him, and he feeling real good and mighty because, he's feeling like a local superstar in Canada, and he wants to impress Perfect, okay? Now, Perfect is still laughing and kikiing about the fact, why they keep calling you Lil Ricky? What's so funny about that? Now, what he said was, he had dropped the Lil Ricky a while ago, and now he's just going by Rick James. But, in Toronto, Canada, they know his ass by Lil Ricky. It's after midnight, okay? And they on their third club. Rick James finds himself looking at a band called Upix or Opix, something like that. And he is excited. Him and Perfect both were like, that's the band. Those are my niggas. I want them right there. Now, before Ricky James could get up and go talk to the band, the owner came in and was like, sir, we need to talk to you right quick. I just want to, introduce you to, a couple of people. Now, Ricky James with his dumb ass, he thinking that, well, shit, I'm a bad motherfucker. They love me down here. Answer, no. What happened was the owner led his ass right out the back door to the police. Men say, you under arrest. Ricky James say, for what? You got me confused, sir. I just got here. The police said, nigga, this was before you left. Remember that shop that you boosted? You left your fingerprints all over it because he wasn't a booster in his soul. He didn't know that you couldn't break into a place and not wear gloves. He learned all the way, didn't he? And on top of that, they had a search warrant for his suite, back at the hotel. Okay, and guess what? The clothes that he stole from the boutique, or some of the clothes, because he had to sell some of them so that he can get his drug habit together the last time he was there, for the dope man. But the clothes that he stole, child, was in his suitcase. So he went from sugar to shit. He went from being on his way to completing his dream to jail. What Ricky James said was the same police that picked him up from the club was the same police that whooped his ass all over the prison. Okay, now what Rick James said he was going to do was file a formal complaint for police brutality, but that ain't get his ass nothing but jail time. Let me see how many months he got. He got 9 months. He says at this point he never seen or heard from Perfect again. Not surprised. She must have been a Libra, because that's some Libra shit we would do. So here we are, February 1st, 1968, and he spent his 20th birthday in jail, but he was allowed to call his mama. I feel like a failure. I feel like I let you down. I promised you so many different things. Baby, don't worry about that. I like working. Working is good exercise. Don't worry about it. But RJ says, you sound like you still believe in me, mommy. Mom, more than you would ever think, son. I believe in you more than anything in this world. See, that's why these boys be fucked up. Some of you mothers is just doing way too much. You need to tell your son, if they a fuck up, you fucked up, son. That's why them old street dudes that can't get right, the reason why they always pick a certain kind of woman is because they need a woman that's going to love them, period. Okay? Through all their bullshit. All right? Period. Like their mammy. Now he in there passing the time away, playing cards. He didn't know how to play cards before, but he know how to play cards now. Okay, so he in there playing cards, hoping to God that Perfect would eventually call his ass. Answer, no. That bitch is gone. Didn't I tell you she a Libra? She don't give a fuck about you no more. Now on the day of his release, his mother was right there at the border to pick her baby up. Mom says, it's over, baby. Just call your friends, Neil and Stephen in California. RJ thinking to himself, how the hell am I going to call them? I told you, burning bridges, Ricky James, that's his name. But anyway, he thinking to himself, well, I was fucking the shit out of Steven's girl, Perfect. And then Sebring, I burnt up all his money and fucked his girl. So, Mom says, what about Motown, baby? Ricky James say, Ma, I burnt that bridge. She said, well, that's as an artist, not as a writer. Next scene, hello, Motown. Hi, Motown, this is Ricky James. Do you remember me? Of course we remember you, Rick James. Yeah, I was just wondering, I have a couple of songs here that maybe if you wanted to look at them and see if you wanted to buy any. The person on the phone said, just call me when you get here. Back in Motown, the first guy he sees is Norman Whitfield. Okay, he's a producer, Anyway, he's the guy who had just put Temptations back on the, well, not back on the map, because they never, at this time in the 60s, they didn't fall off yet. But anyway, he had just produced some mega hits for Temptations and Marvin Gaye. Ricky James, called Norman a strange creature. He would go from being calm to belligerent. Does strange creature mean bipolar? I don't know. Maybe, did they have diagnosis of bipolar then? I don't know. But niggas like that, I don't be close to. But at any rate, Norman eventually became his mentor. And what he told Rick James was that, look, baby, the money It's not for the artists. The money is for the producers. That's where the real money is, okay? The only artist around here that's making money, real talk, is Smokey Robinson. And that's because he's an artist slash producer. And you know that's Berry Gordy's best friend. So you know he gonna hook him up. Norman says, Rickety, you should see this shit. These artists be around here kissing our ass, mowing our lawn, washing our cars, babysitting our kids. I'm just joking with that. But anyway, they be kissing our ass. You know why? Because they want the best music. And Rick James is humbling himself because he's going from being a cocky lead singer to a conscientious, his words, student. While Rick James was at Motown this time in 68, Berry Gordy wasn't here because people was like, oh no, Detroit is not the place to be. So Berry Gordy is down there to LA trying to get the Motown judge there. While the cat's away, the mice will play. What was going on was out of sight, out of mind. This gave Marvin Gaye the opportunity to be a rebel, okay? Because, you know, Marvin had that album, you know, what's going on, because he was stating his political disdainment for the war in Vietnam. Good job. So while Rick James is there, he wrote a song called Out in the Country. It had a Temptation, I Wish It Would Rain type feel to it, okay? Now, Norman was impressed by the song, but because the production team was very competitive, Norman told Rickety James flat out, okay, that's a nice song, but don't bring it nowhere near the Temptations. That's my group. Now, there was a producer named Bobby Taylor who just randomly told people at Motown, all the big wigs at Motown, just kiss my ass. I ain't doing shit unless I want to. He came to Rickety James and said, oh, Rickety James, why don't you try that song out on me? Why don't you produce me? Now, what ended up happening was Rick James, he was astonished at the fact that, okay, I'm actually producing these great people here at Motown, but unfortunately, it was not produced as a single. It was produced just as a song on the album, and you know, sometimes, you know, them songs, they just be on albums, you be like, okay, that's all right, that's good. So it doesn't get the proper momentum if it's not produced as a single. Oh yeah, hold tight, y'all finna be mad at me. So here we are, you know, 10 minutes in, and Rick James only fucked one girl, so, you know, here come girl number 2, get ready, you know. So while he was at Motown, RJ was staying at this place called Lee Plaza Apartments, where Jimmy Ruffin, who was also a producer, he produced the song What Becomes of the Broken Hearted, right? He had a white girlfriend. Pay attention, right? And so did I, meaning Rickety James. Now, both the women wanted to bring Rick James and Jimmy Ruffin money. So what happened was Jimmy Ruffin convinced Rick James to be a pimp. Come to find out, a lot of the men at Motown who was big wigs at Motown were pimping. How they supplemented their income was to have hoes. Child, I am shocked and awed. Now, the thing about Rickety James, you know, he wasn't into beating bras, disrespecting bras, none of that. Okay, he'll call them foxy ladies all night and day, but he ain't into making a bitch sell pussy for him. He ain't into calling, you know, women derogatory names. He ain't into smacking them in the face. One day, his mentor, Norman Whitfield, had a talk with him, okay? While they shooting pool, you know, of course, you know, Norman being a slick slide, pimpish motherfucker himself, because, you know, RJ said that everybody was pimping, all the men was pimping, but, you know, they down there to the pool hall, they shooting pool, you know. Norman tricked him out all his money. He, you know, the scheme, you know, oh, I can't play pool, and then 2 games later, you know, you done took all my goddamn money, okay? But anyway, Rick James is down there with Norman Whitfield, his mentor, okay? His mentor tells him the truth. Listen, brother, R&B is not the judge. Now, this is back in the 60s, right? He said, in order for you to make real money, you need to have crossover appeal. Pop is what it is. So I understand it. It breaks my heart because R&B is not here no more. Y'all done totally squashed that shit. It's gone. But people want to make money. And the fact of the matter is, and this dude right here, Norman Whitfield, is saying this in 1960. Oh, what year did I? 1968. He is saying this back in the 60s. What he says to Rickety James is, brother, you need to have crossover appeal. And you need to get the fuck out of Detroit. Rickety James said, maybe Berry Gordy would hire me over there on the LA team. Norman Whitfield said, answer no. He told Rickety James, look, young blood, go west. Rick James said, you took all my money. He said, here go $50. He said, this ain't enough for a plane ticket. Catch the bus. Have not already done so, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, because it is so important to my success here on the YouTube. Remember this: the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. Naysayers, my patron loves, NayRob's lovers. Have a good one.